A news reporter's young daughter goes missing and disappears into the desert until 8 years later the family gets a phone call saying she's been found alive, but once they come home, things start to go wrong. Now, I didn't know what to expect from this movie until I saw the trailer. And when I saw the trailer, I thought to myself, please, do not be the movie I'm imagining it to be. And unfortunately, it ended up being the movie that I thought it was going to be. I was surprised with one element of the movie that I did not expect to like at all, that I actually do like very much. So that's something. But I'm not the biggest fan of possession and exorcism type movies in general. So please keep that in mind when I do talk about this movie. And I think that's probably the biggest weakness of the movie because they fall into a lot of cliches. There's a lot of questions, which we're definitely going to get into it, but let's talk about the pros first and I apologize if I'm saying the name wrong. Lee Cronin's The Mummy. First pro I want to give it. I think acting wise it's fine. This also can go into the family dynamic. I actually like the family dynamic that we see in movie. You see the whole system. You see before, during, and after the missing, and I do like that how they show that. I think they do a good job with that. It's a very believable family too. I like that element of the movie, and they make it the center of the movie too, and I do like that too. I like that idea. I think they did that very well. They also do, the effects used to gross you out and just make you feel uncomfortable. Very well done, this movie. Now, that kind of does get to me. A lot of like gore and jump scares, they don't get to me as much, really, at all. But when you get to like skin pulling and stuff like that, and effects like that, if well done, that can immediately get to me. Yeah, that does get to me. And it got to the people next to me and the people next to me around me, especially that one scene. Oh no. Yeah. So overall, I think they do a really good job with that.
I will say this movie is shot very well too.
Now going into the mixed, I have one mixed, and that is going to be the ending. I went back and forth on this because initially it was a negative, but when I actually made my notes of everything I wanted to talk about, this ended up landing in the mix because I get what they're going for, but the ending, there's a lot of problems there. We're gonna get to those problems, but I just wish they stuck with the ending at the house. I would have liked that significantly more. Instead, they go the next route and add more time to that, and I'm like, I get what you're going for, but it feels it's too convenient. Yeah, I wish they stayed at the house. That would have been a much better ending. For me personally, I wish they ended that note. And it would have gone the family dynamic a lot better, showing everything how they got to that point. So, it would have gone better with the family center of it too. Going on to the negatives. Now, are some of these going to be nitpicks? Yes, they are. Starting out with the first one. This is just a pure annoyance of mine. I do not like when movies do like with teeth a lot. And they do that in this movie a lot. So personally annoys me. So that was just a negative that I just didn't like about it because it annoys me. And I think a lot of people have those little annoyances in movies. So teeth thing, that is one of mine. And believability, I believe the family. But I do not believe at the end how this character survived. This character in the movie should have died to a point where, like how? I am not making this up. At one point, they're pressing this right here to talk, and they're still alive at the end of it. Like, believability is thrown out. I mean, you could make a case for the other two because technically, the boy does that. I mean, that can heal on its own. If you want to get really technical here, the other one just pulls out their teeth. I'm not a doctor. That could be survivable, but only that one death. How do you even survive that? Like that is. You can't survive that, like, no way. Speaking of that, this just feels like an awkward transition. There's also another part in the movie where it just feels like an awkward transition. And that is honestly going to be, and the one's like a nitpick, and that also goes to the ending as well, that I'm not the biggest fan of. Not that, the ending feels kind of convenient. So does the detective knocking door at the right time. Now, one place is in Egypt, one is in the United States. That must be a very long flight. Now, could it be a day passing and you could ignore that? Yes. But apparently at both times, it's shown at night there, shown at night
I
there.
got curious, so I looked up flights. That is a very long flight.
And earlier in the movie, it's like late at night or somewhat at night where it's like 7 a.m. So there's a lot of difference. I don't know how, but it is really annoying, that kind of thing. It just feels a little bit convenient. I do have some questions there. Again, that could also be seen as a nitpick. This also does turn into a very possession exorcism type movie. If you think it's probably here, down to how the dress looks, down to the speaking voice, down to really everything. And I'm not the biggest fan of those types of movies, I'm gonna be completely honest. And it just turns into really every stereotype possible for that movie, basically the entire time. So I was not happy about that. Yeah, it just turns into that kind of movie. And again, towards the end, I'm really disappointed with how that went. Because, yeah, it started to go downhill towards the real end of the movie for me. And I do have a couple of just baby nitpicks. The biggest one is the biggest question I had when I saw it on my screen, which is, how did that coffin leave? If we are to believe this family would not have let that coffin go, okay? This is in the ground. It was in the ground. There was nothing up. It was deep in the ground. There's nothing that could lift it up. It was also very heavy, as we see the machinery screen. So I truly do not believe that a human, or it would take multiple humans to lift that thing up. Like, that's just not explained. Very nitpicky, but how? And it's just a nitpick. Going into spoilers, this is your spoiler warning, guys, if you haven't seen this movie. I'm just I have a couple of questions I actually wrote down when I was thinking of this. My first question, how did the coffin leave if it was underground? I just explained that one. How did the detective live? How did Layla stay in jail, or was she there? Now, we get the ending, which is, so, get this right. Katie had the demon in her. Charlie took the demon in her to protect her. They buried Charlie, which is where I personally think they should have ended the movie because of the curse of the family. They did that to like keep the demon in and contain it. So they chose Katie, the young girl, because the body lasts longer. That's the person that stole her words there. And they videotape. That's how they find out all this out. So she does that. Charlie has the demon. So what do? He says, the wife calls, and she calls the detective, who's somehow still alive, and says, hey, I need help. So they go to eat. So they're in Egypt at this point. They go, and Layla is just locked up. Now, we didn't know Layla was locked up. The person next to me probably said it best. Whenever they saw her locked up, they were like, wait, what? Why is she locked up? That's actually a very valid question, as she was a kid when it happened. Now, I don't know laws there, but I don't know. That just does not add up at all. I don't see her law called, police on name on her, nothing like that. So, was she all locked up? Was she not locked up? I don't know. That's also there. And another thing, I don't even know how to say this, but you know those cliche when the house is making like the loudest noise, like no one hears it, like you'd be screaming bloody murder, and they're like, I don't hear anything. How do people not hear Katie's voice in the house? Like, you can hear the creak floors. Like, why can't you do that? Like, that's just a little bit of a cliche. And of course, they do the sacrifice, of course, with Katie and others to keep the demon at bay. And the family center of it all, I like the family center of the movie. Do I think they do a good job family-wise? Yes. Do I think they do a good job everything else-wise? Not so much. The biggest thing with this movie, it goes downhill when the detective shows up. You get the convenient answer with the videotape and everything like that, which I understand you have to do some kind of explanation. Now, when did she leave her flight? When did she get there? That can be its own series of questions and nitpicks. But then you get to the whole events of how she should have been dead, and that it just leads into a lot of questions and conveniences. I really wish they ended it at the house. That would have been a lot better. It would have worked more with the story. I don't even know what this movie was. You know what? It was not the worst possession exorcism movie. I think it was well shot. I think it was decently acting wise. It's fine. I've seen worse exorcism possession movies out there. I will say that.
This is the type of movie that if you wanted to do a possession night marathon, you could easily throw this type of movie in the marathon for just a possession movie.
But it is not for me. So comment down below what you think of The Mummy. Did you like it? Not like it? Were you a fan of this movie? Are you a fan of these movies in general? Comment down below. Let's have a discussion, and I'll see you guys soon because I believe next up is the Cinemark surprise screening, and I'll let you guys know what it is after I see it. I'll see you guys there.